UFO technology, and they were leaving the Earth. And so that would be interesting. And I'm sure before the Lord does come for his second coming here on Earth, that he would use his people to go maybe gather up or warn or witness to those people on other planets or whatever. I mean, it really is going to be mind-boggling, but just, fascinating. Some of the things we're going to be able to do. Because before the Lord comes and arrives at Jerusalem, at the Battle of Armageddon, he has his angels go get his elect, and his elect are spread out throughout the heavens. So we're at war. We're doing things for the Lord throughout the heavens. And so it's really interesting, really fascinating. So it's almost like he just stays in space for a while there with his bride, which is millions and millions of those who had died for the Lord in the fifth seal judgment or under persecution or whatever. And he waits while the angels go and gather his elect, and then we all come down to earth together at the same time with the Lord during the second coming of Christ. So that's really fascinating. And so how people can compare that with Sananda's Hollywood production that he has coming up, to where he's going to descend to Jerusalem and Israel with his fallen angels wearing jewelry that can produce a false light around them to make them look like they're celestial beings, singing hymns. I would just die laughing. I can't even imagine. Probably have to sit here and watch Ted Turner's CNN to see it all, because, we've destroyed their capabilities. Part of their chemtrail program was putting aerosol in the air so that they could manipulate the entire atmosphere over the entire world, so that when this Sananda descends down on Jerusalem in this heavenly spacecraft, or however he's going to do it, it actually describes it in the Bible codes as a convertible helicopters. I'm not real sure what that is, but you can picture it. Or like some kind of a balloon, because he literally just kind of descends down on Earth in something like a hot air balloon, convertible helicopter, I don't know what, some kind of machine. Even the Bible codes can't describe it because don't have the words in Hebrew for what we were trying to describe in something happening in our day. But it's fascinating. I had lost my train of thought there, but then that's what he's going to do. He's going to descend in Jerusalem. And so they were using these chemtrails so that when he did descend, they could use all these holographics around the world to produce, these angelic hosts and stuff coming with the Sananda, this Jesus descending on Jerusalem. And so they're very dependent on the whole chemtrail program also because of the aerosols, because it's aerosol in the air that allows them to use holographics. And so the Oregon Warriors have been out there now for several years, putting this Oregon everywhere, and Oregon defeats chemtrails. A heavily saturated area of Oregon will defeat chemtrails. And so you have to laugh, because now they have to go to Plan B, because their holographs all around the world that they're planning to use aren't going to work, because there's a lot of areas where chemtrails can't even be sprayed now. I mean, they come to Carrollton and they turn around and leave, because I can't spray chemtrails here. I've got too much Oregon here, and so it's a waste for them. And I know that there's areas all the way around the world that are exactly like this, because Oregon Warriors have been out there, been putting Oregon out in the air. And so NASA's holograph technology is not going to work. It's not going to work worldwide like they had been planning to. And so I hear Christians out there laughing hysterically, the Warriors. I've always said you're going to be amazed at everything this Oregon does. That everything I've told you is just the tip of the iceberg, and to wait for the Lord to really turn it on. It's like a switch. And right now the Oregon's humming at a low rate, and then the Lord, all he has to do is flip the switch, and the Oregon pumps up to a million times frequency ability that's capable of being, and boom, you can't even imagine what this Oregon is going to do. But I think it's really funny how it's going to mess up their aerosol and holographic plans for the second coming of Satan on Earth, for Jesus on Earth, Satan's arrival through Sananda. And so that's one of the things. And so, yeah, I think they are going to break out the CNN and the television sets to watch this, because it's not going to be the worldwide event that they have been banking on. So they wanted the entire world to be able to witness this arrival of Jesus on Earth that they have planned. Their whole Blue Beam project, the whole facade of the Blue Beam. But the Oregon Warriors have totally demolished their plans on that. And so, you know, all for one be laughing. I'm sure it's the first time they're hearing about it. But like I said, it's a catch-22. I can't tell the people, the Lord's people, what we're doing and what we're accomplishing without them finding out as well. And that's why you're going to feel the news. For feeling the news, they're coming after people. They're coming out with legislation to where they can outlaw the making of orgone, because it's destroying their plans. Question from a listener: realistically, will not the vast majority of us be dead far before the second coming occurs? Yeah. If so, will we not stay in heaven, or will we come to earth with the Lord? Most of those coming back to the earth with the Lord, the majority of believers, are the fifth, the altars under the seal, the fifth seal. If you read about the fifth seal, Revelation chapter 6, where it talks about all the martyrs who were killed for their faith and belief in the Lord, asking the Lord when He's going to seek revenge for their deaths, and He goes, "Hold on, I've got a little longer, because the tribulation period isn't over yet." Basically, you still got half of it to go before He even comes. So you're going to have all these believers murdered, and those are the ones who return with the Lord's second coming of Christ. Hey, Sherry, in the book of Divine Revelation of Hell, was it Yahushua, the real Messiah, that gave that tour of hell? No, I believe it was Sananda. And is Maitreya coming in 2008? I think so, yeah. The reason I believe it's Sananda, and I love that book. It's one of the best books I've ever read. It really is. I do believe she was given an actual literal tour. I believe the Lord allowed Him to use Sananda to do that to her, and because the Lord will allow Satan to do things to people. But she got a real literal tour of hell, and if you read like how he came to get her and things like that, some things just don't add up. A lot of it doesn't add up, but the thing that does is like it's just a real literal picture of hell itself. And so I like her description of the back. Even the Lord has taken me to read that book again, because I read it like once a year. But she's got some info in the back about UFOs being seen, because the New Agers always talk about how Hatan and Michael the Archangel, these freaks the New Agers worship, that are nothing but tall grays, and I talk about them at NESARASucks.com, NESARA sucks.com. They all talk about how they're going to come and whisk their light bearers, their workers off the earth before the earth is cleansed, or whatever terminology they use. But that's one of the biggest teachings they have, is that they're going to come and get their New Age believers off the earth and take them away to other places while the earth is being cleansed, so they'll be safe while the earth is being cleansed. And Mary Kay Baxter